8. Next on News 4.
You're watching WNBC for New York. And now, Chuck Scarborough, Sue Simmons, Al Roker, and Len Berman. This is News for New York at 11.
Count 1 of the indictment, murder in the second degree. What is your verdict?
Guilty.
The verdicts are in. Colin Ferguson is a convicted killer. Good evening. He offered a bizarre defense, and the jury simply didn't buy it.
14 months after that massacre of Maryland Avenue, a bloodbath that tore families apart forever, the victims and their loved ones finally have seen justice done. After 10 hours of deliberations, the Nassau County jury came back and told the court over and over again, guilty. They were convinced Ferguson is the one who coldly killed 6 and wounded 19 passengers on that crowded rush hour train. Carolyn Gussoff begins our team coverage live in Mineola for us. Carolyn?
Chuck, the man accused of inflicting so much pain aboard a Long Island commuter train is tonight guilty of 6 counts of murder and 19 counts of attempted murder. He had perhaps convinced himself of his innocence, but not this jury.
As to count 1 of the indictment, murder in the second degree, what is your verdict?
Guilty.
Like the rapid fire of a semi-automatic, the verdict ricocheted through the courtroom in quick succession. 28 times the jury foreman repeated the word guilty, delivering not guilty verdicts only on the racial bias counts and depraved indifference to human life. The murders aboard the Long Island Railroad, the jury found, were intentional. It was a verdict that surprised absolutely no one, but perhaps Colin Ferguson.
That's it.
It just sends, to me at least, my faith in the jury system.
How so?
They did the right thing.
We are the survivors of the 533. It has been a long 14 months, but justice has been done.
There's things in my heart. It's very emotional tonight. And God damn it, it takes you people to let the people hear about it.
Today's verdict is not the end of this trip. It's just the way station where we provide society with a statement that says enough.
A jury of 10 whites and 2 blacks just didn't buy the notion of a racist conspiracy. Jurors left without comment. But those who helped to convict Colin Ferguson embraced outside court. They say they are victims no more.
It's been a long, hard road with many hurdles, the court procedure being only one of them.
Jurors met with the judge afterward for a tearful few minutes. As for Colin Ferguson, he left the courthouse under heavy guard because we're told of death threats. He has said that if he had to do it all over again, he would not represent himself. But if Nassau County prosecutors have it their way, he will never have the opportunity to have this case tried again. An appeals attorney was in court throughout the entire trial. Sentencing in this case is set for March 20th, and Colin Ferguson now faces up to 200 years in jail. Reporting live from Mineola, Long Island, I'm Carolyn Gussoff. Back now to you, Sue.
Carolyn, thank you. Tonight's guilty verdicts end perhaps the most outlandish trial we've ever seen in our area. Words like ludicrous and circus were used over and over again to describe the actions of a now convicted mass murderer who acted as his own lawyer. Here's Joe Avalar.
We all know that the craziest people are.
His own lawyer, Ron Kuby, called him a madman, the trial theater of the absurd. Colin Ferguson, acting as his own attorney, referred to himself in the third person.
Vindicate Mr. Ferguson. Do not destroy his life more so than it is already destroyed.
His comments, although phrased rationally, often seem bizarre. For instance, when he claimed there were 93 charges against him solely because the shooting happened in 1993. Or when he claimed one of the victims was actually the shooter.
Look at a Mr. Gugliano, who indicated in his testimony that he was shot by the defendant, Mr. Ferguson, that in fact he was the individual that was the shooter on the train.
Prior to that, Ferguson had alternately claimed an unidentified white man had done the shooting, or that another man, also named Colin Ferguson, was the shooter, or that it was all a conspiracy against him. Adding to the peculiarity of this trial, one of his own witnesses claimed Ferguson had a microchip in his head that made him act on CIA command.
My statement is that Mr. Ferguson has been set up by the United States government.
It was not amusing. 6 people died, 19 were hurt, families destroyed by what a jury now says was this man and no other. Joe Avalar, News 4, New York.
Now, legal experts have been watching this case very closely, too, and joining us now is Bill Ehrenwald to take a close look at tonight's verdicts. And, Bill, while people are happy with tonight's outcome, many people are, they're not happy with the process. Should Ferguson have been allowed to represent himself?
Well, 2 psychiatrists, one for the prosecution and one for the defense, determined that he was mentally competent under the present definition. Therefore, he was given the right to represent himself. I think what this case shows us, though, is that we need to revisit the definition and change the definition of mental competence to make it more in line with the definition of legal insanity.
And can he now on appeal go back and say, look, I'm insane, I couldn't have done this? Can he raise the insanity issue on appeal?
No, having not raised it at trial, he's waived it and cannot now raise it on appeal.
All right. Bill Ehrenwald, thank you very much.
All right, and now to the other case that the nation's been watching. In Los Angeles, the O.J. Simpson jurors today got a close-up look at some of the key evidence, including the bloody glove. News 4's Michelle Dabney-Perez has the latest.
A blue knit cap is pulled from a plastic bag, the first glimpse jurors have had to garments believed to have been worn by the victim's killer. Also passed before the eyes of the jury, a bloody glove found left at the feet of Ronald Goldman's body. This hard evidence made its debut today as Detective Tom Lang took the stand, sealing a week of police testimony. Lang took the hot seat following 3 days of testimony from Detective Ron Phillips. Cochran tailoring his questioning to set the stage for Detective Mark Furman's testimony.
And so that we're clear, it was Mark Furman who allegedly found this glove out there near Kalen's room. Is that correct? Outside?
Yes.
And it was Mark Furman who allegedly found this spot on the outside of the Bronco. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Cochran says Furman found much of the potentially incriminating evidence while he was alone. Although the prosecution will present several witnesses before Furman, defense cross-examination already challenges Furman's conduct. Much of this week's testimony has been painstakingly slow, but next week the prosecution is expected to call on Cato Kalin, Simpson's good friend, and Alan Parks, the limousine driver, 2 players involved in that crucial hours surrounding the murders. In Los Angeles, Michelle Dabney-Perez, News 4 New York.
Furman is called a racist by the defense who planted the glove to frame Simpson. Furman is expected to take the stand next week.
Well, up next, Americans and Sex, a new survey about what people do behind closed doors. Also, Mario Cuomo and the pension fund. A bombshell from the in a combative interview with former Governor Cuomo. Your property taxes could be going up.
Plus, the movie where you decide what happens.
You have to make it look real, you know, with somebody that you're not intimate with in that way.
And soap stars talk about making those steamy sex scenes. Then the manager who says no thanks to replacement baseball. Len has the sports next.
Forget about President's Day sales. The real savings are at Chrysler Plymouth's big winter clearance. Now get a sporty Plymouth Neon 2-door or 4-door with a special low financing rate of only 3.9%. You can also get cash back at package values totaling up to $1,200. That's a Plymouth Neon loaded with air, automatic, dual airbags, and lots more, plus up to $1,200 to you. Don't wait, this ends soon. Anyone can have a President's Day sale, but the big winter clearance is only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, and only for a short time.
If you look no further than our clear Caribbean waters, you'll miss the true colors of our islands.
The Cayman Islands.
How does a kid get on the U.S. luge team? Well, every year, 9X and the U.S. luge team hold tryouts for kids all over New York and New England. Last year, 1,800 kids tried out. 25 made it to Lake Placid to train, maybe get a shot at the Winter Games in '98. If you want to be a part of it, anyone 12 to 16 can call 1-800-USA-Luge about a tryout. In the spring, you'll hear back about where and when. And that's 9X right now.
Montero, one of the best-selling four-wheel drive sport utility vehicles in the world. A $30,000 vehicle. Factory discounted. Just $369 a month. Only 36 months. It's 7 passengers. All-terrain. Luxury. Mitsubishi Montero. Factory discounted. $369 a month. 36 months. More value. Less money. Montero. A $30,000 four-wheel drive sport utility vehicle. Factory discount. $369 a month. At your New York, New Jersey Mitsubishi dealer through Monday.
News around the nation now. Tonight, Alabama officials are trying to figure out how to improve the tornado warning system. Twisters packing winds of 160 miles an hour struck rural North Alabama. 4 people were killed and more than 100 others ended up in the hospital. National Weather Service radar did not detect the tornadoes and issue a warning until minutes before they slammed into the area yesterday. A DC-8 cargo plane never made it beyond the runway at the airport in Kansas City, Missouri. It crashed on takeoff, killing 3 crew members. The tail scraped the runway, and after rising 50 feet, the plane crashed in a ball of fire. You are looking at a $10,000 diamond ring in a man's stomach. Police in North Providence say a jewel thief grabbed it in a store, then swallowed the diamond when officers were chasing him. They x-rayed his stomach to get a picture of the evidence. They're waiting for the diamond.
News 4 has learned your property taxes may have to go up because of a financial time bomb left behind by the Cuomo administration. It's a threat for all our New York viewers outside the 5 boroughs. Last week, you may have seen a revealing interview I did with the former governor. Listen to what happened when Cuomo attacked Governor Pataki's tax cut plans.
Governor Pataki said there's going to be a huge tax cut. Now there's going to be a smaller tax cut.
He says he's looking at a $4 or $5 billion deficit.
Correct.
And he's blaming you for a great deal of that deficit. For one thing, the courts have ruled that you raided the pension funds for $3 billion to balance your budget, and now that money's got to be paid back. That was an illegal raid on the pension funds.
Chuck, respectfully, and I want to be very respectful, you couldn't be more wrong. What happened is the legislature wanted to take the pension funds. The court said you can't, and so we didn't. So we don't have to pay anything back. You're mistaken. That's all right.
The governor's office is completely wrong about this. There's no money owed.
Let me make it as clear as I can because we're on the air and everybody can write in. You couldn't be more wrong. We tried it here. The court said you can't, and now, you know, we're not taking it, and that money has to be paid back. There's no question. And we are paying it back.
No, wait,
the controller arranged for that.
But when you say you tried it,
yes,
you took money out of the pension funds.
Absolutely.
And the court ruled that it wasn't legal.
That's right, and that money
now
is now going back.
Yeah, so how am I wrong?
Well, it's not the $4 or $5 billion.
$3 billion.
That's a very small. No, that's not true at all. $4 or $5 billion is this year. The $3 billion is going to be paid over like 10 years.
$3 billion is owed to the pension fund.
Over 10 years. Only a couple $100 million of that is in the $4 billion deficit.
Now, how was I dead wrong, Governor? In fact, you've taken $3 billion out that was illegal to take out.
Because you gave the impression, or tried to, until I stopped you, that the $4 to $5 billion deficit was caused by a ripoff of pension funds.
Well, since that era, we've done a little digging. And here's what happened to the state pension fund, according to the comptroller's office. To balance the state budget over the last 4 years, Governor Cuomo and the state legislature cut contributions to the pension fund by $4 billion, $3 billion plus $1 billion in lost interest. The courts ruled that illegal and ordered the money paid back over the next 8 to 12 years. Because the pension fund covers both state and local government employees, state and local governments have to share the cost. This year alone, according to the comptroller, $388 million has to be paid back. The cost in later years could be dramatically higher. And local governments will have to cough up more than half the tab. According to Governor Pataki's office, that could mean a hike in local property taxes, the price of just one of the budget balancing gimmicks cooked up by your elected officials in Albany. Incidentally, we're told if you're a government employee, your pension is safe. And good news for property owners in New York City, the city has its own pension system, so property taxes here won't be affected. Sue?
A couple of business developments for you now. We begin with television. That new satellite system, digital TV, is having a booming first year on the market, far better than CD players, VCRs, or big screen TVs ever had. But no boom for law schools. Around the country, applications have dropped from 135,000 to 118,000, a fall of 13%. Imagine calling the shots the next time you go to the movies. Guess what? Now you can with interactive movies. The new movie released tonight called Mr. Payback allows the audience to instantaneously change the action, the plot, and the ending. Using a joystick, viewers vote on what should happen next.
And really, that's, I think, one of the most compelling parts of what an interfilm is watching a group of people, kind of friends and strangers, come together as a group and literally create their entertainment.
That was Ben Bijan, director of interactive movies. Mr. Payback is now playing at the Sony Theater at 14th and Broadway.
It's time for sports. The Knicks wouldn't especially want to change tonight's ending, would they?
It'd be great if the fans could decide what happens. Boy, this strike would be done fast. The Knicks finishing their home-and-home with Miami. John Starks out with his bad shoulder. Results of more tests will be released tomorrow. So without Starks, the Knicks rolled anyway. Patrick Ewing, the follow, had 18. The Knicks with a 6-point first-quarter lead. And a huge game from Greg Anthony, getting the playing time tonight. A season-high 19. The Knicks led by 18 at the half. And Hubert Davis leading the way, starting in place of Starks. He had 21. They led by 24 after 3, and then they nearly let it get away. Keith Askins brought the Heat within 7. The Knicks did win it by 9, but the coach's post-game comments were short and not sweet.
15 years of coaching. And it's the most unprofessional attitude of a team that I've ever been around.
And that after a win. The Knicks will be hosting Clyde Drexler and Houston Sunday. Elsewhere in the NBA tonight, how happy is Akeem to now have Drexler? Here he goes on the alley-oop. The college teammates reuniting. Houston easily winning in Washington. And in Orlando, it looked like men against boys. How easy for the Magic toying with the 76ers. Well, they edged them by 46. Houston beat Washington. Indiana beat the T-Wolves. Golden State beat the Suns in overtime. Chicago beat Detroit. And Atlanta won in Dallas. Hockey in the Meadowlands. The Devils hosting the Islanders. Devils in the home white. Midway third. Tommy Albaline beating Tommy Soderstrom. The Devils took a 2-1 lead. But now just 1:50 remaining in the game. Benoit Hogue ties it for the Islanders, beating Martin Brodeur. That tied the game at 2. Then in overtime, here comes Claude Lemieux for the winner, and he's stopped by Soderstrom. 2-2 the final. Same two teams tomorrow night on the island. Detroit beat Edmonton. Boston edged Florida. Ottawa gets its second win of the year, and St. Louis won on Glenn Anderson's late goal. Yet another black eye for baseball, even though they have no more eyes to blacken. They have run Sparky Anderson out of the game. He refused to work with replacement players, so the Tigers said, get out without pay until it's over. His salary is $1 million.
This is strictly a thing of me. I have some standards, and I will never change my standards. I've always said this, you'll never have enough money in the world to buy my character. My character's not for sale.
And in Mets camp, this was the first day for their strike breakers to suit up in Port St. Lucie. Our Vince DeLisi was there and found some who don't want a shot at the big time.
It's a definite no for me. In my case, I'm not really worried about not making it someday. I'm just going to wait till my turn comes and then deal with it then.
I told them we're down here to work and we're here to prepare for their baseball season, wherever that may be, and we're going to help them do that the very best we can.
And the Orioles refused to play any exhibition games against teams with replacement players. In fact, Baltimore has no replacement players themselves. And Buck Showalter was less than convincing when he said he expected to manage Yankee replacement players in games. Shows you what a hopeless disaster this sport has become. They canceled the World Series. They've turned off an entire generation of kids who get their entertainment elsewhere now. And now they've run off Sparky Anderson. Everybody connected with baseball has to be deeply ashamed. That's sports. I will see you Monday from Fort Lauderdale.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sven. Well, on now another topic, sex American style. Simply put, it's not what it used to be. That's what a new survey tells us tonight. First, that nearly 1 in 3 Americans has changed his or her sexual habits trying to avoid AIDS. The result has been more condoms being used and the number of sexual partners dropping. Some Americans have gone even farther, 11% saying they are abstaining entirely from sex. The survey questioned 3,400 Americans about their most private acts and desires. The findings were presented at a national science meeting in Atlanta today.
There is sex, and it's on the TV screen now. You saw the soap opera awards tonight on NBC. Let's take a look at what it's like to act on those shows, especially in those racy love scenes.
Now, do you believe me when I tell you I forgive you?
Yes.
You might think this would be a fun way to make a living, but soap star Jason Brooks says it's not easy and it's not much fun.
You've got 20 crew guys in concert T-shirts watching you. You've got an inch thick of makeup on.
Brooks, who plays Peter Blake on NBC's Days of Our Lives, says it's hard to get in the right mood.
On this kiss, kiss right. On this kiss, kiss left. I mean, on, you know, move this way, on this move, and you're getting cues, and they tap your foot when you need to roll over. It's very technical.
Soap legend Theo Pengulis says the technicians, directors, producers, and other crew members make sex scenes a real challenge.
You have to be careful of her hair. You got to be careful of the light. You can't move the shoulder here. You got to do this, and by the time you finish, you feel like somebody needs to mold you into the position, and then you have to be sensual and natural.
You have to make it look real, you know, with somebody that you're not intimate with in that way.
Lisa Rinna says sometimes those steamy scenes become a little too hot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard not to when you're having these scenes with people and you're kissing and you're, you know, having sex or whatever they're doing. It's hard sometimes to look at reality and the fantasy of it and to separate the two.
And Rinna's on-screen love interest, Robert Kelker Kelly, agrees that it's easy to get too involved.
So I like kissing Lisa Rinna. As a matter of fact, I like kissing Lisa Rinna probably more than I like acting.
And just in case you're wondering, the actors aren't really naked in those scenes. The men wear shorts, the women wear skimpy bodysuits.
Well, I'm relieved.
Me too, yeah.
Well, except I must admit none of us are wearing pants right now. So it is pretty warm out. Oh, I don't have a microphone.
No.
So that little clever retort.
No, not any of that matter. Well, hey, don't worry about it. In any event, it's so hot. My microphone's not on. In any event, we got more warm air coming this way. Ooh, boy, is it going to be toasty. Details coming up.
Get your pencil and paper ready for tonight's winning numbers in the 4 New York Daily News Watch and Win contest.
Akeem has been reunited with his college teammate Clyde Drexler. Now, Phi Slava Jama comes to New York to face Ewing of the Knicks, Sunday at 12:30 on 4 New York.
Although this BMW is a highly affordable 325i, it is available with highly advanced all-season traction. A feature you can have on BMWs of all sizes, from the 325i to the 8 Series, to help you slip away without slipping.
Visit your nearest BMW dealer for these special lease rates.
There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and even more miles of sky, because you can earn miles on most major U.S. airlines when you rent from Alamo, the fastest growing major car rental company in America, with more cars on average per location than anyone else, and unlimited miles, including some in the highest regions of Alamo territory.
Announcing Pontiac's Triple Value Days. Lisa Grant Am, GM's best-selling car for only $169 a month. Loaded with AC, airbag, automatic, anti-lock brakes, power steering, and door locks. Your present car might even cover the down payment.
Lisa Grand 3 for only $209 a month with AC, airbags, automatic, anti-lock brakes, power steering, and door locks.
You can even lease a Bonneville for only $239 a month. Loaded with AC, airbags, automatic, anti-lock brakes, power steering, and door locks.
Pontiac Triple Value Days. And you thought Christmas was in December.
KitchenAid ranges mirror nature in surprising ways, with even warmth, strength that endures, a mystery that unfolds. The fire of creation, all someplace a little closer to home. KitchenAid freestanding ranges built in ovens and cooktops, because we took a cooking lesson from Mother Nature. KitchenAid, for the way it's made.
Here are tonight's 2 lucky numbers in the 4 New York Daily News Watch and Win contest. If you have one of these numbers, you just won $5,000 and you're eligible for the $1 million grand prize. To join the contest, pick up a copy of the Sunday Daily News and turn to TV View for your secret Watch and Win number. And watch 4 New York at 11 for your chance to win. It's the 4 New York Daily News Watch and Win contest.
A couple in Indiana became parents to 3 girls and a boy within minutes. The quadruplets were born 5 weeks ahead of schedule. The largest weighed in at 5 pounds 2 ounces, while the smallest held its own at 3 pounds 4 ounces. The multiple birth was helped by fertility drugs, and they say they're all doing fine. We haven't spoken to the mom lately, though.
She's
nice.
resting.
Yes,
no
she's
doubt.
resting. Yeah.
But she's not going to get any for about the next 20 years.
That's
Get any
it.
what? Oh, rest.
Oh. Al, we better press on with the weekend forecast quickly.
But you got...
As we take a look right now, show you what's going on. Let's take a look. 39 degrees, clear skies at Central Park. Southwesterly winds at 3, relative humidity 47%. Barometer is rising. High for the day, 47, low 32. No precipitation. And as we look around our area, clear skies for the most part. Few clouds trying to work their way in. They're not going to get in here. The good news is we've got a big area of high pressure. Still bad news, though, for our friends down in the southeast. More flooding, stationary front, little waves of low pressure along that. Flooding in Georgia, the tornadoes that we told you about earlier. But for us, clear skies tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Mild tonight. Upper teens to low 20s tomorrow. Lots of sun. Southwesterly breezes. Look for temperatures rising up into the near 50-degree range, so it is going to be nice and toasty, even warmer on Sunday, although as low pressure works its way toward us, we may see some more clouds on into Sunday night. Tomorrow, 44 in Boston, Washington 51, variably cloudy Atlanta, out in L.A., 84, 82 in Miami, tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. In fact, for the next few days, they've got temperatures in the 80s as the strike breakers get their tans. Now, as far as our forecast is concerned, for tonight, we are looking at clear skies, temperatures upper teens to upper 20s with very, very light winds to calm. For tomorrow morning, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 20s to mid to upper 30s during the day. Highs for the day tomorrow, not looking too bad. Low 50s with lots of sunshine. Thickening clouds late in the day on Sunday. High of about 55 degrees. Clouds move out Monday morning, then some sunshine and 45. Tuesday, rain, 41. Then Wednesday, back to reality. Temperatures in the upper 30s with partly sunny skies. Time now for a Do Something, a salute to people in our community who make life just a little bit better for all of us. Celebrating African American History Month, students at PS 155 in Harlem drew 2 25-foot murals. One illustrates the richness of African American culture, while the other depicts success. Both hang on the Democracy Wall on Bloomingdale's main floor, so you can all check it out when you go shopping. Muralist Jabbar Baum donated his time to make sure the student project was a success, and by the looks of it, it looks like they really did succeed. Now, if you know someone who deserves a salute, write to us to Do Something. WNBC, P.O. Box 444, New York, New York, 10020. And it looks like we are succeeding with plenty of sunshine and warm weather heading into the weekend.
That is wonderful news,
Okay.
Al. Thank you. Up next on News 4, New York, New York.
Yes, a display you'll really want to see coming up.
Sunday, a story of heartache and triumph.
Mother, how dare you!
Two-time Oscar winner Sally Field.
I wish you knew how much I love you.
The television event of '95, A Woman of Independent Means, beginning Sunday at 9 on 4 New York. Then at 11, see how Hollywood captured the magic of an entire era.
America is filled with hope and possibility.
Watch as a modern Texas city is brought back in time. A Woman of Independent Means, the movie at 9. Then see the monumental recreation of a magical era, Sunday on 4 New York at 11.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of great deals on every new Mercury.
During your Mercury dealer's President's Day sales event, get a value of historic proportions on any Mercury, including a loaded Mystique with dual airbags, power windows and locks, air, and more for just $229 a month.
Those are term limits everyone can agree on.
For one of car and drivers, 10 best.
See your Mercury dealer and let us prove it.
Hurry, after March 6th, Mercury's President's Day sales event is history.
People, listen up. We've got a red alert. Red alert. Every one of these babies needs to be shipped ASAP. Oh, this is the big one. Hold all calls. Put on a pot of Java and let's roll up our sleeves.
Introducing desktop shipping software from FedEx.
This is a time when few have got to do the work of many.
Now you can point, click, and ship everything right from your own computer.
It reminds me of the winter of '84.
Packages are ready to go. Should I tell you?
That's my little army.
This is warm enough. For free shipping software, call FedEx.
Test price a Mercedes-Benz today at your tri-state Mercedes-Benz dealers. We're with you every mile.
Faster, roomier, more aerodynamic. To our esteemed competitors who've been pursuing us for years, chase this. The entirely new 1995 Lexus LS 400 with no increase in price. Wolf. See your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer. The hunt is over.
Finally tonight, if you're looking for a reason to be out this weekend, try the photography show at the New York Hilton. Art dealers from across the country have set up shop to display their goods. The theme of this year's show is the Big Apple, tribute that's sure to please everyone. The exhibition, billed as the largest in the world, runs through Sunday.
That's our news for this evening. Thanks for joining. Well, I'm just sitting back, admiring your work, Sue.
Thank you. Admirable, I'm sure. Good night.
Have a great weekend.